rapid fire, and today's game is
Monstro Giganto, released through RGCD, is another great C64 release from the Pirates of Zanzibar, the same team that gave us 2020's excellent puzzle game, Boxy Moxie. This release falls in the category of fighting game or one-on-one versus, which is a genre of game on the C64 that no one's attempted to make in a really long time, so it's nice to see a new game on the Commodore that isn't a basic platformer or puzzle ROM for a change. And although this is a fighting game, it's very unique in many ways. First off, the style or setting is just fantastic. I'm a big fan of Japanese kaiju or monster movies, so seeing this for the first time on my C64 just blew my mind. I had the fortune to talk to Antonio Savona, one of the leads in the team that is making this game, about the style and who came up with it.
Lobo came up with the idea of a Petsky based brawler last summer, inspired by a series of drawings based on Godzilla, King Kong and other giant beasts. It was initially planned as a comic book in which an army of monsters duke it out, but then one thing led to another and the project ended up being a game instead. Oh, and yes, we're all big kaiju fans here.
Seeing these big monsters on screen and battling out is such a joy. The game offers a 1 or 2 player versus experience. In the 1 player mode, you get to choose your creature from a selection of 4 giant beasts, each with their own unique skills and weaknesses. Just like any fighting game, you should try them all out until you find the one or ones that work for you, as they all play vastly different. I asked Antonio if he could tell us a bit about the team that put this all together and how it came to be.
It's basically the same team that developed Boxy Moxie, and much like Boxy Moxie, Lobo had most of the graphics done by the time he reached out to me for coding the game and to Aldo Chiuma for the music. And we work very well together, therefore it's only natural that we don't change the team.
The gameplay is very precise and it's definitely not a button masher. It's quite tactical, similar to the Way of the Exploding Fist or International Karate, where a well-timed strike is how you play the game. Your monsters also get fatigued if you constantly button mash or attack, which leads them to getting dizzy and leaving them open to attack from your opponent. Learning the strike distance of your monster is key to success. The game is really quite fun in single player, but 2 players where it really shines in my opinion. I asked Antonio if it was always intended as a 2-player game first and a single second, or both.
Yeah, this was initially designed to be a party game, so 2 players only. But then once I saw the graphics, I liked it so much that I thought I wanted to do something more with it. So now you have 1 player mode, the secret origins, the additional monster that you can unlock and everything else. That said, I would agree that 2 player mode is where the game really shines. I've been playing with my friends for quite some time now and it's still a lot of fun.
The basic gameplay is destroy as many monsters as you can until you die. The amount of wins will put you in the Hall of Fame, and if you purchase the physical cart version, your stats will be saved as well as any secrets you open. These secrets involve a new monster and the origin stories of many of the characters. These short little videos are full voice narration explaining the origins of each character and are quite excellent.
The tale of Ai of Poughkeepsie. The medicine men of Poughkeepsie kept fending off evil with a mystical eye beast for centuries, but the last shaman died during the summoning, and Ai was left wandering the plains ever since, growing to a monstrous size.
And are definitely well worth playing to unlock. As I'm sure you've noticed, the entire game is done in Petsky style graphics, which is not a common choice, especially in a fighting game. I asked Antonio why they chose this style over the traditional C64 graphics.
That was Lobo's idea, and I think that it just liked the challenge of making an entire game in Petsky, as if Commodore 64's limitations weren't enough already. From a coding perspective, not being able to use sprites means that you have to adopt a new coding style to move objects on screen, but I wouldn't say it's been more or less difficult than the other games that I've coded, just a bit different.
Sound is another big factor in the game, with all the tunes by Aldo Chiuma, which bop along at a good pace. And I love that each monster gets its own theme tune. It reminds me of when they used to do that in movies before the industry forgot that that was a thing. What's truly impressive though is the crazy amount of digitized speech jammed into this game. It honestly sounds like you're playing a 90s arcade game.
Round 1. Fight!
I asked Antonio if this is the reason the game is only getting a cart and digital release.
It's more the other way around really. The publisher, RGCD, works exclusively with cartridges. Now, there's so much more that you can do with the extra resources when you roll out a cassette version for it. And once the game was complete, even with all the in-game speech that was already there, which was already a lot, the cart was still only some 20% full, give or take. Now, I didn't want to add more in-game speech because as much as I like talking games, I think that speech should not be invasive or prominent, but rather something to complement the action. So we came up with this idea of the secret origins of the monsters, and all in all I think that's roughly 3 minutes worth of digitized speech. And it could have been easily more than that, but we literally ran out of things to say.
Overall, I had a great time with this game, both in single and two-player versus. Even with the unlockables in single player, it's gonna have a limited shelf life, but as a two-player romp with a friend, I'd highly recommend this. You can get both a digital version and physical cartridge version that comes in this awesome box with one of the best, most detailed manuals I've seen in ages, both from RGCD, and I'll leave a link in the description to pick them up. Overall though, it's a new game in an old genre, on an old system, in a new style. What's not to like?
Game over.